Welcome to my channel. This is Jesus is here. We're going to get straight into the action here, and first off we're going to look at the minions from Shadow Sealland 25. This is on Hoss's account, and I, after much experimentation, found a specific way for me to deal with it. I'm not saying at all it's the only way. What I'm doing is I'm actually using Jara, even though she can be a bit of a pain and not getting Eloise attacks on her, to CC the minions, and using Itaquah to do quite a bit of damage on the minions, and leaving the two Eloises I have to clear up the remainder. There was a lot of trial and error that went into this to get this clear. The minions in Shadow Sealland 25 are a little bit challenging. With the experience I've had after that, I may look at other ways of doing it, especially if you have access to Gustins or an extra Eloise, as I end up using here. But this was the longest attempt on minions. After I more or less got this technique down, I used it for pretty much all the minions. One thing to note on these minions, one thing that made it difficult, is that they tend to attack, or they do attack, the two highest attack heroes that you have. This is very often Jara. If Jara gets CC'd all the time, she is not going to be able to do this beautiful stuff to the enemy minions. So I had to reduce her attack significantly by removing some pieces of attack gear to get her below the Eloises, which was quite a way, because these two Eloises are actually homed as well. So, you know, they were riding between 600 and 700,000 attack, and the minions wouldn't stop attacking Jara until she was about 380,000 attack, something like this. So really had to work hard to get them to leave Jara alone, so that Jara could do some pure CC action. And as you can see, Itaquah is really doing a lot of work here as well. And this is very specific to the minions. It doesn't work at all on the bosses. Itaquah isn't very useful on the bosses. Jara is completely counterproductive on the bosses. But for the minions, because they're all CCable, this method of really using Itaquah to do some large damage, take out one of the minions and do some damage to some of the other ones, and leave Eloise to clean up, worked for me. As I say, it's definitely not going to be the only method of doing it, but it's the way that I managed to get past it. So these ones are going to go down quite nicely now. As you can see, this is only the kills. There were a lot of attempts in between as well, mainly on the first pack of minions. Actually, the last two came down pretty easily after that. And then going on to the boss, by much more attempts. So here I built a third Eloise. There are going to be a lot of attempts with two Eloises before this. I moved Onikumaru into the first row to give Eloise bonus armor. This, combined with using Deer Pet, meant that Eloise in the front row was extremely tanky. So you started seeing Eloise do a lot more damage as she was surviving a round or two extra, which is huge. Unfortunately, as you see, I don't get the kill shots, so what I've done is I've recorded the first attempt I did with the setup, with the triple Eloise and the Oni. I thought the minions might reset at the actual reset, so I kind of sped through to get the kill. As you can see afterwards. So this is a failed attempt, but you can see kind of the principle that's working here. It's exactly the same team here, and I just ended up clicking through a bit too fast there. Missed avoiding the OK button, but it was a kill and it was clear. So obviously, after that, I had to do it all again to actually try and get a kill video for you guys. So this is on Jesus now. And we're back to doing the minions using exactly the same technique that I had before. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Not sure why I enjoyed watching this at ×1 speed, but I guess you can see the CC in slow motion, which is pretty nice. So round 2, we've got everybody alive still. Still ended up using Deer for the extra protection on the Eloises. You would get more damage from the Ichqua using Phoenix. For the minions, it's really up to you, I'd say. And you see Ichqua's still alive in round 4. Doubt she's going to get another active off. Did she get an active off? Oh yes, she did. Wow. So you see how much damage Ichqua's done to this. And the Eloises have to clean up 3 minions on not much health at all. So that is a relatively easy job for them, although it is round 5. But you can see from the green marks above Eloise that Gustin has cleared them of quite a lot of debuffs. Gustin proved pretty useful in this. And as you can see, you'll see on the boss kill in a few attempts exactly how much use I did make of it. If we see here, yeah, we've got Ichqua on as much damage as the Eloise, almost, which is pretty impressive considering how much damage these minions put out and how fragile Ichqua tends to be in these situations. It's a pretty even spread of damage across the minions. Everyone's really putting in a bit of work here. And the Oni is really proving his use on the armor buff for the front row. So on to the next minions. This is at a little bit faster speed now, but again exactly the same principle was used. CC as much as possible, hope Ichqua lasts as long as possible, and let the Eloises do their work. Here I used a Tix instead. Tix does reasonable damage. So yeah, we're going to see them go down relatively easily here. And then after this we'll just have one more set of minions to go. There we go. That was really nice and easy. Lasted until round 10 there. The dot damage from these minions did not seem to be as severe as the previous minions. I found these minions generally easier than the other ones, but I guess depending on your tactics, it will vary on how you find the minions. And here what we have is a mix of the first 2 minion types. 2 of each, and we're getting much more towards what the boss will look like. The boss just gets inserted into the 5th slot, but at the risk of repeating myself, the same tactic here again. CC and use Ichqua to do damage and Eloises to clean up. Having multiple Eloises really does help here. And I decided to go a different route on the boss kill for Jesus. I didn't want to build a 3rd Eloise, but wanted to try something a little bit different, mainly because I found Gustin was dying too much on the boss early. So we'll see the solution to that coming up after this kill here. And Ichqua again over a billion damage there. Very, very nice work from her. But on the boss, Ichqua's not really useful. So I ended up using double Gustin, which is a beautiful thing to see. You don't often see that anymore, and has become kind of a cult hero these days. It's got an amazing tool set for cleansing. Very, very applicable to the boss. But the problem with Gustin I found was that he was just not able to survive against these bosses. So the solution seemed to be to get 2 of them. You'll see that there was quite a few attempts beforehand where the Gustins didn't survive, and actually them being CC'd here does help, because As you see, the enemy has a lot of green swirly circles under them, which means that if you attack them, you get hit hard by the thorns. So the double gustings really help the Eloises survive until we get to this kind of end game situation. And it's interesting that the back Eloise, not the armor protected Eloise, was the one to survive. And here we got the kill. And there were a lot of attempts leading up to this that were very close to a kill. So double gustings really added a large layer of consistency and really helped with the kill. So this is not a cheap clear. This is really an end game clear. Building this, it will require a lot of effort. They're not heroes you're generally going to have on your account, but it is very rewarding should you decide to put your mind to it. And good luck with it, or finding even easier ways to do it. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.